Hello, welcome to the Projection Project. My name is Rain. I'm your super awesome, epic, and cool host. And today I have with me Hailey.
Hello.
Are you excited to be here?
Yes, I'm very excited. A little awkward, but I'm ready to go.
That is everyone. Everyone is I'm scared, or I feel like I'm gonna be awkward. But people always realize that it's just literally an hour of us talking, and then you realize that people are going to listen to the conversation.
Yeah.
Probably the most awkward part. Anyway, today, Hailey and I are going to be talking about something that's super big in the shifting community, as everyone knows, anti-shifters.
Boo.
Yeah,
Boo.
boo. Tomato, tomato,
Boo.
tomato.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone on for sure shifttok. I don't know if this happens on Amino. I'm pretty sure it doesn't because they're privated groups.
Oh, okay. I've never been on Amino, so I wouldn't know.
I went on Amino, I think winter of 2020, but it killed my phone battery, to be honest. Because the group was constantly going off, and it was hard to get in some groups. I was in a group with a lot of people. I mean, I would recommend it if anyone's interested, but just kills phone batteries, to be careful, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think this for sure happens on shifttok, that sometimes their videos end up on the wrong side of TikTok, and people are it's not real, blah 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 blah. So we're gonna talk about all the wonderful parts of anti-shifters.
Oh yeah. So
So have you ever had an anti-shifter comment on your stuff?
For me personally, I think one TikTok of mine actually blew up, and it was a shifting one, and somebody commented, "What is shifting?" And I was like, "Oh," I explained it to him, and then go, "Oh, that's just lucid dreaming," and left. And I was like, "Oh, okay." But other than that, I've been lucky enough to stay on the right side of shifttok. But I mean, how about you?
I generally don't get very many. There was one video I made in 2021 that it was about some of the mutuals of mine, and she said she had shifted for a day, and I made a video about it. Someone could probably find it, and almost all the comments were talking about how it wasn't real, stuff like that. I had to delete a lot of them. Shout out to the couple people in that comment section who are actually standing up for shifting and all that other stuff. There was one comment that I really liked, but at the time they didn't have the pin option, where it's hey, if you don't believe in shifting, then just don't comment anything, don't just leave it alone. I'm yes.
Yeah, and my favorite comment going around right now that I see a lot of people saying on whenever somebody says, "Oh, shifting's not real," or something like that, somebody goes, "You realize anti-shifters are just people who are angry because when they tried it, it didn't work."
Yeah.
I'm yeah. I mean, you're not wrong.
I think that's the only video that got a lot of hate, but every once in a while I'll get one comment on a video that blows up. But it's always the most random thing. Wait, did you see that video of my friends only where it was the bum bum ba and it was someone commenting if you can shift, why don't you cure cancer? And they follow me.
I saw that, and then I saw the comment that said, "You should have told them to go ahead and do it."
Oh yeah, hang on, for everyone who's not on my friends only, I post the funniest shit on my friends only. It's either random stuff or it's funny.
Okay. I love it. It'll pop up and I'm like, yes, another one.
I have a lot of stuff on friends only, but a lot of it is random stuff that or it's just asking my mutuals questions. Oh my god, when was this? It wasn't that long ago. I found it. It was, oh yeah, should have hit him with the "why don't you?"
Yes. Oh my gosh. No, because a while ago, I don't know if you were ever on that side of TikTok, but for that, somebody commented that or made a video about it, and it was going around TikTok for a while. And someone brought up the good point of, well, if it isn't the reality, we don't know if that cure would even work in this one.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, that's interesting, but a majority of shifters are just trying to go to Marvel or Harry Potter because we want to have fun, not focus solely on that.
Unless you're thoroughly interested in medicine, because if you're not into medicine and stuff like this, you're not going to understand what they tell you most of the time.
Yeah,
Um,
and if you come back, I don't think people are really going to take you seriously
yeah,
because, like,
if you're like some kid, or even if you're an adult, but like in the medicine like stuff community, a lot of those people are older because they spend a lot of years in school, so they're not going to take you seriously from what you say.
and they're all about the like scientific proof based stuff of like, well,
Yeah.
where's your research for this cure? You see, it's in another reality.
Yeah, you
But
see. Careful, the men in black are gonna come show up.
no, for real.
Okay, don't take that seriously, anybody listening. It is the funniest. I love all the jokes. I was gonna film one earlier and I forgot. But
Like,
yeah, okay.
there's the joke going around like, oh, careful, the TVA might hear you. Like, listen, MCU shifter, that is my greatest fear when I shift to that reality. I literally scripted TVA does not exist. I know that's going to mess up the timeline for that one, but I'm not about to get kicked out. I know you can't, but it would just be more of a headache. It really
Yeah.
was.
I said I scripted that I'm gonna keep him alive because I just don't want any of this happening. So
Mhm.
boom, problem solved.
That's what I did.
But yeah, okay, Men in Black thing doesn't exist. Please don't, if you see it
Yeah.
going around TikTok, it's a joke. Anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh my god, it was something about the cancer thing and I can't remember anymore. Anyway, I think with like anti-shifters comments, they're always like the same like 5 comments.
Yeah, I've seen that. I'm like, it's just repetitive at this point. Like, just chill.
Yeah, because it's always like you're lucid dreaming, you're daydreaming, or you're like, yeah, daydreaming. There are some other ones that I literally can't. Oh yeah, the cure cancer one is really common, and I swear there are a couple more, but I just can't. Oh, like they're faking it, like it's not real.
Yeah, faking it. And then I've seen ones where people like are like, you have a lot of mental health issues, and I'm like, do not bring that into this. I'm a psychology major, so when I've been like, I'm like learning all like the technical terms and all like the diagnoses and all the symptoms and stuff, and I'm like, as a psychology major, like it when people just blame it on like a mental illness or something, I'm like, first of all, that reflects like badly on shifters and the mental health, like people who struggle with mental health, because they're not connected, and it drives me crazy when people say that they are. I'm like, they're not.
Yeah, it's mental illness in it. No, but it's oh yeah, okay. The other comments were they have schizophrenia or you're gonna get psychosis. None of that can happen. You can't just magically get schizophrenia.
Exactly. People don't realize that you can't just all of a sudden it's in like made it's throughout your entire life. If you are schizophrenic, you might not show the symptoms at first, but eventually they develop through your life, and it's not just going to pop up like that if you shift. It's just not how it works.
It's something that's always been there.
Exactly.
Even if like shift, we were talking about this before, but like before we started filming, but even if shifting is just dreaming, who cares? If like people are having fun with their dreams, like what's the big issue here?
Exactly. I don't get it. I don't.
Also the fact that like they say that they are like that we're daydreaming, do y'all not know how daydreaming works?
For real, like it's you can't just that's not daydreaming like you said. And I don't know, but when people say, oh, it's just lucid dream, it's just this, well, okay, like you said, what if it is? At least nobody's hurting anything if it is. And like if it's not, do you like the possibilities, like I don't get why anti-shifters are so riled up about this. Like, just let people do this.
No, yeah, just let people have their fun. Like even like we said, even if it isn't shifting, like who cares? Because now I know a lot more people, instead of saying shifting, they use the term quantum jumping, because quantum jumping has I mean shifting has also been around, but they're basically, I'm pretty sure they are the same.
Yeah, they at least go hand in hand. Yeah.
Because you could, if you like type into Google quantum jumping, you're probably going to find more than just shifting realities, because shifting realities sounds like not like funky, but kind of quote unquote sounds made up. But once I think people realize that it's also quantum jumping is the same thing, they're gonna like take it more seriously. Maybe because it sounds more scientific because there's the word quantum.
Yeah, I think probably.
Maybe, I don't know. But I looked up quantum jumping the other day and a whole bunch of stuff popped up. And there's even like a
Really?
Google definition of what it is. And I was like,
Ooh.
no way.
Yeah, there's one like meditation I listen to, and it's amazing. I'll try and find the name of it while I'm talking, but I think it's John Moyer. It's an amazing. I was actually listening to this one when I got closest to shifting. Like it was the craziest thing. I was just laying there, and then at the end of the meditation there's like a 10-minute just like calming noises, and I kid you not, I swear on my life, I swear on everything I own, I was just laying there and I felt someone grab my arm, and so I got scared and I like jumped out of bed, and nothing. I unfortunately didn't shift, obviously, but yeah. So it's Sleep Meditation to Shift Your Reality by John Moyer. That I've used it so much, and that's why I get the most like symptoms or whatever you want to say. But I don't know where I was going with that, but like
have you ever like listened to anything by Alan Ear?
I might have.
I love their videos. They are carrying the shifting community.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
and they just have such a calming voice, and I just love everything like they say. It's always like good music. They've done multiple like methods on YouTube, and they also re-uploaded some recently because they got a new mic.
Okay.
But their videos are probably anyone listening most people are gonna know who it is.
Yeah.
What else oh my god, I was gonna say something else relating to. Oh, okay. The thing that I never understood from the beginning, this is like kind of off topic, but it relates to Alan Ear.
Yeah.
But like the void state, what I never understood what it was.
I'm so confused by it because I don't know what it was either. I didn't.
It wasn't just me.
Because one of my quite a few of my mutuals, we have like a group going on, and so we'll talk in there and everything, and a couple of them are like, oh, I got into the void state or something like that, and I'm like, I asked what it was, but then I didn't really understand exactly. I'm thinking it's more of that state where you're conscious that you aren't in your reality anymore, and then I don't want to misspeak, but like
this is us saying we have no
idea
what it is, you guys. So don't come yell at us if we tell you something wrong.
I'm just like, okay, let's see. It was in the chat a long time ago. I don't think it's gonna come up.
I just don't even like know. Like I've had Estelle, who's been on the podcast a couple times. She's tried to explain it to me so many times, and I just don't understand it. Like I think I've been there, but Estelle was like, you would know. I'm like, but I don't know because I don't know what the void state is.
Exactly. It's like, okay, I feel like I have been there, but I don't know where that is, kind of thing.
Yeah, and then people were like misinterpreting like what the void state was. Like people were going too far with it, and like it wasn't like the right thing. I just don't know. I just don't know. Because I truly think that I've been there, and I think I talked about it in an episode, but I don't think like the void state was like a topic on shifttok yet. But like a couple times, I think it's probably more than 10 times, where like I feel like my eyes are open but they're closed. Like that happens a lot.
Is that what it is? Oh, well, it could be. If it is, we'll go along with it is, then yes.
That's kind of what I've just considered what it was. Is that I feel like my eyes are open whenever they're closed. Like I don't feel the weight of my eye, like me closing my eyes, like I'm forcing myself to close my eyes. I feel like or maybe like my body is like truly fallen asleep and I'm conscious. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. But the first time it happened, I panicked. I opened my eyes so fast.
Yeah.
But sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, it's okay. I was just like, when I first started like my shifting journey, I was like, it was early shifttok, so it's like the starfish position, like all the lies, and then I actually did my own research. But and so I was just kind of chilling. I was just listening to like a subliminal, and all of a sudden like I felt as if like I was floating kind of thing, and it freaked me out so badly. And I was like, whoa, what's going on? And I like woke up, but I was like, it was just weird. But I've never had anything other than, like I mentioned before, the feeling of someone grabbing my arm. I don't think I've mini shifted, but I'm like, I will soon. We all will. But yeah, other than that, that's like about the extent of that. And like you were saying, I have a feeling like I'm not in my bedroom anymore, like I'm somewhere else. But when I do open my eyes, I'm still here and I'm like, oh.
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 I'm pretty sure I talked about this like on Snapchat a while ago. Yeah, it was like maybe back in November. I swear I almost shifted, but I didn't. So like it wasn't a mini shift. I don't really like the term mini shifting. That's
I've never understood mini shifting. That's another thing that I've always been kind of confused on.
Me too. Okay, I'm gonna talk about it in a second. But
Okay.
I like whenever I felt like I almost I or whenever I oh my gosh. Whenever I felt like I almost just shifted, I felt like I was getting ready to like teleport, and then all of a sudden like it went away, and I was like,
Mhm.
I don't know how to describe it. Like I talked about it like as soon as it like the day after it happened, but I wish I would have saved the video of me talking about it because like I felt like I was on nothing, like I kind of like the floating
Yeah.
feeling, but I was like starting to get like really warm, and my room is kind of cold, and I basically felt like I was getting ready to go somewhere, and then I didn't, and I was like,
Yeah.
hmm.
That's cool though.
I like freaked out the next day.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. If I was in that position, I'd probably be freaking out too. But like just hearing that, that's really cool. It's really interesting.
Okay, back to mini shifting because I
Okay.
talked
Yes.
about this a while ago um on my TikTok, but I don't know. I mean, I post so many videos. Good luck finding anything. um, but it was I gave my opinion on mini shifting, and like I don't like the term mini shifting for it because people also have different definitions of mini shifting, which is why I think I get confused. Like some people are like, I mini shifted. I'm like, okay, so you shifted for 5 seconds and then left, because in my opinion, that's shifting.
Yeah.
Like that's not mini shifting. But also some people take mini shifting as like they got close and then they didn't like fully go there. Like
Okay. Yeah, like
I
they
don't
didn't get to the
know.
final push. Oh, okay.
Like
Yeah, so
I don't know what it means, but I think we should like drop the term. But I know shifttok isn't gonna do that.
yeah, no. Because I know like in a lot of shifters files, it's like either mini shifted or like shifted and or not shifted kind of thing, which I love that key. Like that key system is like my favorite thing because I'll like watch the shifting video and then I'm like, oh, did they shift yet? I'm like, okay, yeah, that's so cool. Okay, follow. And if they didn't, I'm like, oh, okay, somebody else follow. So like, okay. But I do have a couple mutuals who they have mini shifted and their experience, they were saying they like woke up, looked at the clock, and they're like, I'm hungry. I'm gonna go like eat some Oreos. This is exactly how it went down. And then they said that they went back to bed and then they woke up again and looked at the time and it was the same exact time that they woke up originally and they didn't have any taste of Oreos. So they were like, I don't know if I just like I don't know, dreamt that, but it felt so real. And so that's why I'm like, I'm guessing that would be a mini shift, but I mean,
I don't really know.
I've never done it, so I can't really say.
Yeah.
And like, it's cool. It gave everybody in our group chat a lot of motivation, but I was like, interesting. It's just really cool hearing everybody's experiences.
Yeah, I think my mutuals is probably 50-50 about maybe a little bit more of maybe like 60-40, 60 of people who haven't, 60% of like people who haven't shifted or mutuals who haven't shifted, and then 40 of have. I have a couple who've like I guess mini shifted, but like I know recently one of my mutuals, they went like they woke up like they saw everything, they felt like because they were going to their Star Wars DR, and they said that they felt like the Force, and they hugged their brother, and I was like, I think it was their brother. I don't remember. But like I don't remember if they shifted back, if they like, or if they were kind of like, I think they shifted back. I don't really know, but like they weren't there for very long, and I was like, is that mini shifting? I don't know. Maybe I'd have to just ask them.
Yeah.
But
yeah, just
I think
ask our
it's
mutuals to be like, what is mini shifting? Like,
yeah. Please tell us.
yeah, I'm sure we're gonna get a lot of responses after the podcast. Like,
Yeah, all of a
All the
sudden on a
comments are
random
gonna
video,
be
you're gonna get a
explanations.
comment.
And please do, because I would love explanations, please.
Yeah, no, on the void state and mini shifting. Listen, we're
Yes.
dumb. Please tell us.
Yes, help us.
Yeah, I think it's because like also shifttok like takes one thing and kind of rolls with it.
Mhm.
Which it can be a good thing or a bad thing. Like,
Yeah.
but people are also really like gullible. So
Yeah.
well,
Mhm.
like we will fall for anything if we haven't shifted yet. Let's be real.
Yeah. I and the thing for me, when I first started, like most people on Shift Talk, like when they started, they just kind of went along with the people on TikTok telling them what to do for shifting and stuff. And then after a while, I'm like, okay, none of this is really exactly working for me. And so then I started doing like research on like my own kind of thing, like Googling and everything. But even with that, it's just other Shift Talkers posting more on other platforms. So it's like, okay, well, now I get some solid information, but it was just kind of like that was the main thing for me personally, to do your own research, not just trust everything you hear, because
Yeah.
most of that stuff isn't going to be 100% reliable, maybe, but
Yeah, I
and then
definitely
other times
agree.
it is.
Because what several people have noticed, I know I've seen in comment sections, is that baby shifters have like been shifting faster than people who've been here since 2020 because they're not being fed like jokes, like they're being fed actual
Exactly.
information.
Hmm.
Because a lot of for a lot of us, it like that old like 2020 stuff is like ingrained in our minds, and we don't want to change what
I
we've been
know.
doing.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I even once in a while I'll just kind of like lay really still because I know you can move, but like sometimes I'm like, you know what, I might as well just kind of like chill here and see what happens, because that's when I have like I feel like I'm doing it right, even though I know I don't have to do it. It's just like you said, ingrained into us. Oh, it would
Yeah,
work better if you did it this way. I'm like, oh, okay.
I feel like that's the thing that's ingrained in most people's mind because several of my other mutuals and me all still barely move whenever we try to shift.
Like, and when I do start feeling like I am getting somewhere with shifting, and I'm like, oh, wait, okay, now I really shouldn't move, because what if I like upset it or something like that, upset like
Yeah,
the flow of it.
like if
But
I'm like calm and relaxed and all of a sudden like I itch myself, I feel like the relaxed state is gone.
yeah, yeah.
You want to know? Oh, okay. I don't know if you like remember this, but on Shift Talk, whenever like shifters like weren't answering us if we should be excited about the symptoms we're feeling, if we should just ignore them, and we got like
Yeah.
such mixed reviews from shifters,
Yeah,
and like
like half of them said embrace it and the other half said ignore them. I'm like, how am I supposed to ignore it if I feel like I'm falling from 5 stories?
I know. So I remember like seeing all this, and I think I decided that like it was better to like embrace them. Um,
Yeah.
but also like more of my mutuals say to embrace them. So I was like, all right, we're sticking with my bestie mutuals and I'm gonna hold their hand and follow them.
Mhm. Yes. And then I've recently, I'm sure you've seen this. I've seen a lot of people say the symptoms are just your body falling asleep. And I'm like, that honestly, that when I heard that, I will admit it did give me like a little step back of, oh, oh, okay. Well, that's great. I thought I was getting a lot of stuff and it almost unmotivated me for a little while. But then I'm like, well, if you put your mindset, my mindset is if you put your mindset in, oh, these are symptoms, then your mind is going to be like, well, yeah, they are. And then it might help you shift even more, kind of thing,
I
from what
think
I think.
I think that started going around whenever the void state first started
Yeah.
being popular on Shift Talk. I was actually glad that someone said that because like I think people weren't like differentiating like the feelings of them. So I don't know. I think I liked it. Is the moral of the story. I thought it
Yeah.
was a good idea to like tell people that. And now like I know that like you don't really like get shifting like some people do, some people don't, but like now we know that most
Yeah.
like if you're feeling some symptoms that your body's just falling asleep and that's like part of the
Yeah.
process.
Yeah. And
Um
that's good. So, and I think it
yeah.
also helps the people who weren't getting uh, as many symptoms, if you want to call them, that it made them say, oh, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just like, just your body falling asleep. So
Mhm.
like you said,
Like it's natural, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. That's part of the reason why I think it was a good thing.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I meant to say this back whenever we were talking about meditations, but I know a lot. I mean, I kind of hate this, but I didn't realize that other people hated this too. Was that in shifting meditations, like at the very end, they say, "And now you are in your DR," and your mind is like, "No, I'm fucking not. I'm still here."
That annoys me. It does, because I'm like, well, now that you said that, I know I'm not, because you just said that. Like, you should have just let the meditation continue on and fade off instead of open your eyes, you're in your reality. I'm like,
I
am I though?
hate that, especially that for, like, open your eyes, you're in a DR. Like, I'm not in my mind. I'm like, I'm not opening shit. Like, I'm still in my bed.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I didn't realize that other people also really didn't like it until I saw a TikTok video recently of someone saying that they also didn't like it, and everyone was agreeing. And I was like, all right, nice, not just me.
Yeah.
So,
Because recently I haven't even been using like subliminals for shifting. I'll just put like rain noises on, because like I scripted that when I do get to my DR, it's like raining outside or something. That's what I personally do for my scripts, so that I'm like, oh, okay, well, as I'm falling asleep, I'm hearing that, and so my mind, I'm like almost trying to trick myself of, well, when you fall asleep and wake up, it's raining outside, so you're in your DR kind of thing. So
I've done that before too. Okay, I sometimes play rain noises to fall asleep. So I don't use rain, but whenever I try to go to shift the Harry Potter and I don't want to use, or my Golden Trio specifically, that I don't want to use like a subliminal, I'll just put on fireplace sounds, because there's a fireplace. I was like in the burrow, and I was like, I don't know, like, also I like the sounds of fireplaces. So
yeah, I get that, because I found like for my Daredevil DR, um I found one where it's like city noises, and I'm like, oh, perfect. Oh my gosh, that's perfect for this, because I have an apartment in the city, obviously. So it, I don't know. I just like, now I'm kind of reliant on that though, because I'm like, oh, I'll just play it while I go to sleep, and I love it. I really do.
I think it's a good idea. I think a lot of people should try it. I mean, probably other people do if you and I both do it.
Yes.
Where like, if find something like weather or fireplace, anything that is like close to your wake up scene or is related to your wake up scene. Because then if you're like falling asleep or trying to shift, you can be like, oh, I'm like or not like imagining, but visualizing that like I'm sleeping wherever I'm supposed to wake up. I feel like that would help people with like the sounds
Yeah.
also. But so let's say I'm sleeping in my bed, I'm hearing rain noises, and I'm like, oh, I want to wake up in somewhere, I don't know. And so I'm just imagining that I'm sleeping in my other bed or other couch
Yeah.
or wherever you're waking up, on the floor. I don't really care.
Yeah, I find that best, because I use a lot of I really haven't done an awake method or tried to do one recently, but because I usually don't have time in the day to do them. So like for those, especially sleep methods, yeah, I love doing those. Rain or city, whatever you want to use, like noises, they're great.
I I don't like awake methods. I talked about this in like the methods episode, I think, whenever we were talking about methods. I think part of the reason why now I also don't like them is back, I don't know when that episode came out, probably like November. Um but I back in January I was diagnosed with ADHD, and like, so now like a lot of ADHD meds like purposely like keep you like awake. And so even though like they don't like keep you awake, but like you have a hard time falling asleep, there you go, if you were to take them, depending on what you take. So now like I'm just forever like too like awake to try and do, and not like awake, but like I'm not, like I'm too hyper to be like relaxed. I don't know how to describe it. I
Yeah,
just don't like awake
I get
methods.
that.
I've like, I don't know if other people with ADHD feel that way, but I just can't like get relaxed if it's like the middle of the day or like whenever I'm most like not proactive. Maybe it is proactive whenever I'm like most like busy with doing stuff. Um,
Yeah.
does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does.
I was
I
like,
feel that, because like whenever I do try and do, I rarely do no awake method, but when I do, I'm like, okay, well, I can start it now. But then in the back of my mind, it's like, well, I only have like a few hours, and then I need to go do this and this and this. And so I think that really like stops me personally from like really putting all of my attempt into it, because I'm like, well, if I do shift, that's great, because then I can then just stay in my DR and everything like that. But then if I don't, well, now I just wasted, or whatever, whatever you want to say, like that hour I was attempting to shift. Like, I think the back of my mind. But for sleep methods, I'm like, well, I'm going to sleep anyway, so
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
that's my
that
number
a
one
lot of
thing.
people also don't like awake methods because they're like, oh, I have to leave to go wherever in an hour. So like let me try for a little bit. And then they feel like they wasted the hour before they have to not waste, maybe wasted, I don't know.
Yeah,
Wasted like the hour before they have to go to work or school or rehearsal
yeah,
or
no.
whatever. Because they're like relaxed and then they have to go do stuff or
Yeah,
I don't know. I get what you're saying. Where you're like you feel like you're on like a time crunch.
exactly. That's what I was going for. Yes.
So if you're not like free all day, if you don't have to do anything all day, I think that's like the best for like awake methods if you
Yeah.
feel like you're in like a time crunch.
Yeah, because it puts like unnecessary pressure on you where you're like, well, I need to shift, or else I'm gonna need to, I still have to go to the grocery store, I still have to go to class or something like that. So it's like, okay.
Yeah. Because I think I tried an awake method once and I was like, nope, not for me. I'm out of here. Like I think another
Yeah.
problem, even though I love sleeping methods, sometimes I go through the whole method. And obviously it's okay to fall asleep during the method. But
Mhm.
like I do the method and I just can't fall asleep after doing it. Like that's
Oh,
another
yeah.
problem I have.
Yeah. For me personally, when I am doing a sleep, I'll get this random spark in the middle of the day of like motivation of like, oh my gosh, I'm going to my DR tonight. I know I am. I know I am. And then by the time it is time to do the method and everything, I'm like, I'm tired. I just want to go to sleep. I'm like, no, you were so motivated like 3 hours ago. Like my friend E, I would talk with them and I'm like, E, I'm so excited we're going to our DRs. And they're like, yeah, we are. And then we're like, we get to the end of the day and I'm like, I'm really tired. And they're like, yeah, I'm too. So then we just go to sleep. I'm like, okay.
I'm like that. Not and I mean I used to heavily be like that, but now like sometimes like I'm getting ready to go to like sleep. Like I'm laying in my bed, I set my phone down and I'm like, you know what? I'll try anyway. I'm like, it can't hurt.
Yeah.
I've already failed 20 other million times. I can fail one more time, I guess.
Yeah. And when that happens, I just like put my subliminal on. I'm like, hey, intention method. Let's do this. And just fall asleep.
I have a mutual for anyone, Benny Frankie. They made their method, I think it was, is the intend pretend. Nope, I messed up. It's in I gotta look it up. It's like it's super easy to say, but like I forgot. And I think that would help a lot of people if they want to go with like intention. Um, but yeah, Ben was the one who made it up. And or not made it up. Maybe it's just their I don't know. I gotta find it. Hang on. um I got it. Okay, it's meditate, intend, pretend. That's what it is. I
Oh.
knew I was forgetting something. So basically, like you just meditate, kind of get into like a relaxed state, and then use intention. Assume that you're going to be in your DR. You are in your DR. Things like that. Um, it's just like intention is just like thinking. This is
Yeah.
on. Okay, if anyone wants to know what this where the video is, it's on benny.exe and it's pinned on their account. If I'm doing a terrible job of explaining. So thanks, Benny, for doing this. And then pretend treat shifting into DR as somewhere you've already like been, you are like are right now, like stuff like that. I think that's like a good way to help people with the intention method because
Yeah.
I feel like people don't know how to do the intention method. But they
I
fully
really like
explain
that.
like the method on their account and everything. And tons of people really liked it. I think I tried it once and then like I fell asleep right away and I was like, oops.
Yeah. See, I have like so many, like quite a few of my mutuals will tag each other whenever we see like a new method pop up, like somebody's personal method that worked for them or something will pop up, and I like save all of the videos. So like when I do go and try and do a method, I'll look through them and be like, oh, I'll try this one tonight. I'll try this one, and then like you said, I'll just fall asleep, and I'm like, oh well, oh well.
I made a video recently. This one you can actually find on my account recently of me explaining like all my methods that I've tried and like how I felt about them. And somewhat like I wrote like my own Like I said, like my own
Oh yeah,
method,
I
quote
saw
unquote.
that.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
basically just Raven X Sunny, but someone wanted like an in-depth explanation, and I was like, okay, here it is.
Yeah.
I just like the counting aspect of like shifting because it helps me like relax,
Mhm.
and like kind of like push like not push my worries away, but helps me
Just kind
fall
of like
asleep.
focus on everything away. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Or I can like kind of focus on like the little things. I don't know how to explain it. I think a lot of people really like counting. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah,
Um,
I like a mixture of the Raven method, and it's kind of weird because I know it's an awake method, but Julia method, because like I like the visualization and everything, because I forgot exactly what it is, but I've just kind of gone. I know it's not my personal method, but it's almost where I start like just visualizing and then counting, and then I'll start visualizing after a certain amount of numbers, or whenever I like start getting lost in numbers, because I have a bad habit of being like, okay, 38, 52. I'm like, wait, no, that's not right.
I do that too. That's why I have to have a meditation do it for me.
Yeah, yeah, that helps me having a meditation that does count. But like if I just try and do it on myself, I'll do like 10 increments, and then doing like visualization or like affirmations, and then a few more 10 increments and do that. But I mean, I guess it hasn't worked yet, obviously, but one day it
Surprise!
will. Positive mindset, one day it will. But
Yeah, I'll lose count. I'll be like 39, 50, and then I'm like, wait, what? And then if I like wait too long without saying a number, I'm like, wait, what number was I on? And then I go back like 10 sets of numbers, and I'm like, all right, time to go back. 30, 31. Like
I know.
it's like a repetitive
And
cycle.
for me, if I do like count, and if I'm more awake than like if I went to bed earlier to actually try and shift so I stay awake. But if I get towards the end of the numbers, like I usually count to 100, I'm like, wait, now I have to recount. Okay, so I got to 100. Now let's go back to zero and count to 100. I don't know if I should just start trying to go past 100. That might help, because then I'm like, my mindset is probably like, oh, well, now I have to restart and go to zero and everything. But
You want to know what I realized recently is that
what?
so I was having a conversation with another mutual about how like what I do whenever I can't fall asleep sometimes, because a lot of time like sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and I can't fall back asleep. Um is I like because I randomly one day I googled, this was before I got into shifting, by the way. I googled like how to make yourself fall asleep, and one of the ways is to do 0 or 100, like count from 100 to 0, but like backwards basically.
Mhm.
And then I realized once I got in, like a couple days ago, back to the conversation, I realized I'm like, wait, I'm like, that's how it's like connected to shifting, is because you're kind of like,
Yeah,
I was like, how did I
the
not connect
whole
the dots?
yeah, the whole counting sheep thing for when like when I was little, I would never be able to fall asleep. And so my mom would say, just count sheep. And so I would like just count and fall asleep eventually. And like you were saying, now I'm like, wait, it's kind of tying into that, isn't it? So
Yeah, because they're like almost every time you're going to fall asleep before you hit 0. And I think I've only hit 0 like once or twice. But almost every
mhm.
other time I fall asleep before I hit 0, it's because counting backwards is harder than counting forward. So maybe if you feel like counting
Yeah,
isn't working for you, anyone out there, try counting backwards and see if it helps you like relax, fall asleep, anything like that.
yeah. I'll try that next time because I'm like, I
I
keep counting forward. So
like I
try
use this
backwards.
subliminal or the meditation, Alanier void state meditation. Go listen to it. Anyway, I will forever love Alanier stuff. Okay. I they count forward. So I kind of just have to stick with forward unless I want to count on my own one day. But I swear I was gonna say something else a while ago about anti-shifters and I just can't remember. That's gonna bother me.
Oh,
Oh
they're
my
just
god, wait.
upset because they didn't shift their first
I
time.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It was literally like related to what you just said.
Oh,
So
really? Okay.
yeah, I was like, wait, I remember.
I saw the recognition go across your face. You're like, I remember.
The light bulb go off.
Yeah.
Um, so okay, I hate comments that are like, I or it's always on big ass creators and who
Mhm.
like have tons of comments and like we'll never go through and read all them most likely.
Yeah.
And that was like, I gave up, I tried, and blah blah blah. Like all they talk about in the comments is about how they gave up, and I'm like, okay, good, lol. Like, what do you want us to say? Like, it's never happened to me, but I see it on other like big creators, and I'm like, why would you, like, you're just like demotivating people, one, and two, what do you want, like, big creators, like, I'm assuming they probably just want like the big creator like comment them or like
Yeah, to
comment
be
for
like,
them or
oh
anything.
no, don't give up. I'm
Like, if you comment that
that,
on my post, I'm gonna be like, okay, good. Like, what am I supposed to say that's going to change your mind? Like, I hate people who do that.
The
And
thing for me that I always say to myself, even if I feel like, I don't really want to keep doing this, I've been at this for almost 2 years. I'm like, the one thing is, if I gave up, the next time if I tried, I probably would have shifted.
this is literally my mindset, and the only thing that's kept me going, because I'm a very pessimistic person, but that is the one thing I'm so optimistic about.
Same. I was like, if there's one thing I will always count on is my stubbornness to be like, no, I'm not giving up, because I know for a fact if I did, it would be the next time I try, I would have shifted.
I'm like, what if I do it the next time? Like, that's literally my mindset.
Gryffindor traits coming in strong.
I also the comments are like, is shifting real? And then they do like stupid emojis. Like, no, all of shifttok is joking. Like, we're all in one big joke. Like, it's
like, there's
it's
only thousands of accounts on it. Like, we dedicate all of our time because it's not like, what do people expect us to answer with? I'm like,
yes, or no, it's fake. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Like, I hate all those comments like relating to that, or it's like people about how like people would talk about like their shifting experiences, and then comments would say like, oh, I gave up a week ago, I gave up like a month ago, and I'm like, okay, good. Like, or okay, like, what do you want us to say about you giving up? Like, why did you comment this? It wasn't needed.
Yeah. I think, and then another thing people will say, like, or at least anti-shifters, I noticed, like, whenever, oh gosh, all the drama of when people like have lied. Like, I've never really been into the big shifting community. Like, I'm aware of some people, but like I don't really follow any of the big accounts. It's mainly just like smaller creators and like my mutuals and stuff that I stick with. And so whenever someone's like, oh my gosh, did you hear about this? I'm like, actually no, I didn't. But when people are like the big creators who did say, oh, sorry, I lied, that just fuels anti-shifters even more and like demotivates everyone. And it's just like, why would you lie? I don't get it. Like, it's just so frustrating for people who are telling the truth. I'm sure for them it must be so aggravating, because they, like, people who do shift and they're like, I swear I did, like, and then trying to motivate other people after everything is exposed from someone else. It's like, what was your goal there? Like, it's just so aggravating for me.
Especially like if the creator was really well liked, or if like people really like looked up to them. This is why you shouldn't idolize creators anyway. Is that like they were faking, or they were lying, or this bad thing happened, and then after people, like after that person is exposed, people will go and try to point fingers at other creators, like any creator, and be like, are you lying? Like, are you telling the truth? Like, and then like after like a month after that person has been called out, like the drama still stirs because people think that other people are lying.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's so frustrating, because it's like, well, now all the anti-shifters have more people, like, because they're like, oh, well, you all were so sure that they were telling the truth. How do you know everyone else is? And I'm like, that's when you just have to take it into yourself. Like, you have to kind of reflect and be like, I know that if I'm not going to give up, because when I do shift, it's going to be so rewarding. Like, even if it's like how we were talking about earlier with, okay, what if it is lucid dreaming? Well, eventually you're going to just experience everything and anything. Like, there's no harm in it. Like, and the end goal can be so rewarding, like when you do, and it's going to be amazing.
Yeah. Going back to what you were saying about like bigger creators, I noticed I recently unfollowed a lot of bigger creators, and I realized that as soon as you don't follow like any of them or a lot of them, you stop hearing about the drama that's going on. And it's
Uh-huh.
like obviously like not all of the drama is like big creators' fault. I'm not saying that, but like
Yeah.
smaller accounts or other accounts love to point fingers at the big accounts, which is not
Yeah.
fair to them. Or love to
Hmm.
throw them in stuff that they're not needed in. But some stuff some creators do on their own. This is not talking about anyone in particular. I promise. If people try to cancel me, I can't even be canceled. I have like 5,000 followers. Like I
And I blessed over it.
like
No, and
it's
I think that's another thing. Like all the big, like, well, no, I didn't mean to say, but everyone, but like for some people, like it's all about followers. And I'm like, for me personally, I'm just like I like just posting stuff because then I find other people who have similar interests and I get so excited when we have similar interests. Like a couple people recently, actually one of my friends they got me into Akatar recently. And so I've like started to find a couple Akatar shifters. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's a really small community. But that's like my favorite thing about it. It is a small community. So like you get to know them more personally. And I love it. I don't know. Like the smaller creators are a lot of fun to talk to. I don't think I have any mutuals with big creators because like you said, I just like usually stay away from that kind of stuff just because a lot of anti-shifters are within those comments and I'm like, please don't find me. I don't want to deal with that. But
I don't even know like what to define as big creators because some creators have like over 100K, some have over 50K.
mhm,
It's like very confusing. But I would say like
yeah.
I have a lot of mutuals who have more followers than me, but I also
Yeah.
have a lot who have less than me. I love being mutuals with smaller creators because like you get to know them and like people who don't really, like other places they want to go. I do follow someone who goes to Akatar. I don't remember their username. It's
Oh my
because they
gosh.
go to the Grishaverse and I want to go to the Grishaverse, and so I'm
Oh
like,
my gosh, yes.
I uh I need to get into Akatar. It's on my TBR. It's happening. I'm eventually going to read the
I
books.
I literally just got the books like last week. I finished the first one in like 3 days and I'm almost done with the second one now. But highly suggest that, by the way.
Olivia, who's been on the podcast, probably I think the most out of anyone, just started Akatar. Um, and she just finished the Throne of Glass series, I think it is. It's
Oh,
like a
I've
million
heard
books. She
that.
like loved it. She said it was very good. For anyone wondering. I actually don't remember. I think it was Throne of Glass. I don't know. um in the beginning, she's like, I don't know if I like this. And then afterwards, she's like, I loved it. It was beautiful. And I was like, what?
Yeah, no, because it's so funny. That's how my friend they were saying like, oh well, Avatar is explaining all the characters and stuff. I'm like, okay, I'm intrigued. I'll buy and start reading. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, I understand everything. I'm already like planning a DR already.
I know anytime I read something new, I'm like, I should go here.
I know it's like you get so enthralled with everything. You're like, okay, I need to go there once I'm gonna finish the series first so I know everything. But I'm like, this is a place where it's just so cool. I'm like, yeah, I'm going here. That's my one of my other things, like the urge to make a DR for any piece of media I consume. I'm like, I need to calm down. I already have like 40 some scripts probably at this point, but oh
One
well.
what I've noticed are starting to become more and more common is fame DRs. I see them
Yes.
everywhere now. Originally,
Yeah.
I barely saw anyone who had fame DRs, but now I follow a lot of creators who either have a fame DR or started theirs
Mhm.
recently. Um, those are really common, and some accounts are only fame DRs, which is totally fine. People love hearing about fame DRs and how you are in this
Yeah,
reality because you can
I
be
know.
famous in so many ways. A lot of people become actors, but you can be actor, singer, director, president, YouTuber. I don't really care.
Yeah, I know. It's so cool because recently, like you were saying, the popularity of like fame DRs has been growing so much. And now I'm even like, wait, that would be kind of cool to go to a DR where you're like that. For me personally, like for my MCU DR, like it'd be cool to go to a fame DR where you're the actor who portrays yourself up from your DR. Like go to a reality where you're
That's
there.
genius. Why didn't I think of that?
But yeah, my friend E and I, we've been talking about that for a while now. I'm like, because we have an Eternals DR where we're sisters, and I'm like,
I know who you're
oh
talking about. I follow
yeah,
them.
oh you do, oh my gosh, yes. So I was like, all right, well, here we go, we can do this. And so we're like, well, now we got to shift to a reality where we have a fame DR, so we can just, because like, could you imagine, like, as me in that reality, I would be like posting stuff and be like, oh, here's your content for Morgan, like my name and my Eternals DR for the day kind of thing. Like, I don't know, it'd just be so cool to go there and do that.
I think the only thing I'd struggle about in a fame DR, or like I have thoughts about making a fame DR. Now I'm like, I don't know if I want to do this because they are okay. If I were an actress, there would be so many things I would love to be in. Like, how do people choose?
That's why like a lot of people have multiple fame DRs. Like I've noticed that. Like if you have
I
one
would
fame
probably do
DR,
that.
yeah, I would probably do a couple because I want to be in the MCU, but then I'm like, but then I would also want to be in the DC universe from like all this stuff. And I know some actors do go between them, but it's very rare and be confusing almost. But I'm like, yeah, I'd probably do two separate DRs kind of thing.
It's not as common like now. Well, spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen Batman. Barry is in the new Batman movie, and oh god, have you seen this movie? Did I just ruin it for you?
No, I know he's in it, but I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it's like Barry is in Eternals and he's in the new Batman movie. And I guess not really spoilers. Okay, you guys are good unless you didn't know Barry was in the cast. But a lot of actors who used to be in DC have moved to Marvel, like Michael Keaton, Christian Bale is supposed to be the new Thor.
That's
Um,
right.
there are a couple other ones that I can't think of off the top of my
Yeah.
head. But what was I gonna say? Oh, the guy. Oh my god, I don't remember his name. The actor. He's also in the new Batman movie. He's the voice of the Watcher. I think his name is Jeffrey.
Oh,
He's
that's
he's
cool.
also the really smart man in Catching Fire and the Hunger Games, like the man with the
Oh, okay.
glasses.
Yeah, okay. I know who you're talking about. I don't know the
I don't
name
know
of
the
the
actor's
actor.
name. I'm gonna look it up.
Okay.
um,
But yeah,
but
see,
he's in
and
Batman and he's the Watcher's
okay.
voice.
Okay. That's cool. Because
He's
like with the fame, yeah. Because
he
I have
and
an X-Men DR also. And so I'm like, I have like 3 MCU DRs. And so I would have to have like I have wait, no, I have 4 because I have a Revengers DR because I love them so much.
his name
I
is
have like
Jeffrey Wright.
Jeffrey Wright. Hey, shout out to Jeffrey Wright, I guess.
Because he plays Gordon in Batman, and then obviously he's the
Okay.
Watcher's voice. I don't know the character's name from the Hunger Games, but I feel like most people would know who I was
Yeah.
talking about. Um,
Yeah.
but I know I also have. Wait, I can't. I have an MCU one. I have a Eternals one, and I have an X-Men one. I think I have a DC script, but I need to. After seeing Batman, I'm like, I better finish this DC script that I haven't even
No, I
started.
know. Yeah, for me, I recently created my DC script because I always loved the Suicide Squad. Like it was just a really good movie and stuff. And like I was like in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, that'd be kind of cool to shift there. But I've always really been more focused on Marvel and everything. And then recently, again, my friend E, a lot of influence. But
Shout out to
like
E.
I know. Thank you, by the way. Anyway, but got me into Peacemaker. I don't know if you've seen that
I
yet.
have not yet. I haven't even seen the
I've
new Suicide Squad.
oh, it's funny.
I
Oh
heard
my,
it's
it's
very
very
good.
different. It's very different from like the vibes of Marvel kind of thing to go two very different extremes, but it's hilarious. Like I it's definitely something I need to work more on for my script, but I have started like posting like a few videos on my TikTok about my DC DR, and I'm like, let's see if anybody else has a DR because then I can like compare notes and everything. But
Giselle, who is the on the very, very first episode, she's a DC shifter. And I remember whenever I first started coming up with ideas for my DC script, I asked her what she did for her script. And she like gave me the whole shebang. Whenever I asked,
yeah.
like her message in DMs was so long. I think she had to send
Oh.
2. And because the problem is that I grew up with DC over Marvel, and then as I got older, I
Okay.
in the Marvel. And because the problem is I love Teen Titans. I grew up on Teen Titans.
Oh my gosh,
And
yes.
when there's great intros. When there's trouble,
For real.
you know. Anyway, I grew up on Teen Titans, but then I also like I love Batman. I know like tons of like Batman stuff, like characters like Batman villains. I love Batman villains.
Mhm.
Anyway, and I'm like,
I
oh
know.
god, I'm like, I don't
Have you
know.
seen Gotham? Have you
I
seen Gotham on
I
Netflix?
I think I saw like half of the first season.
It is so good if you give it a chance. Oh my gosh.
Because like I have
Very
a
good.
really hard time watching shows. I still need to watch the second season of The Witcher, and it's been
Like
out
me
for
too. I've only
months.
seen the first one. I'm like, yeah, I've only
Um,
seen the first season of that.
but like but I also like Justice League, so I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I
Mhm.
think I like decided it would be like more based around like the Bat fam, and like probably I'd put myself in Justice League as well. I
Mhm.
haven't really figured it out,
Yeah.
but I'm like, yeah, this seems right.
Yeah, because a couple of my mutuals and I, we have like a shared DR. I don't think, well, I have it like written down and stuff like the basics and stuff, but we have a Titans DR, the live action Titans DR, just because like we all watched it. Like we would FaceTime and watch the new episodes together, and so we're like, we should make a DR about this. And so we do have one, but like it compared to my other scripts, I've kind of like pushed it aside, which I feel bad, but then all of a sudden I'll watch something or consume a piece of media about DC and I'm back on it. like it's
That's
like
literally me. I rewatched Eternals yesterday, and
mhm.
I was like, time to finish it. I mean, it's basically done, but I
Yes,
have a couple things I want to add. But I'm like, I should go here.
I know because like I'll watch like a new Marvel movie and all of a sudden I'm back. Like I'm like, okay, we're going here, we're going here for sure. And then I'll go like just recently I went to Universal and so I'm like the visuals I just received. I'm like the urge to now go to my Marauders DR. I want to go
That
so
is
badly,
so
but
scary that you say that, because I went to Universal in Florida, or not obviously in Florida, but in
wait.
December, and
Oh,
I was like,
okay.
I have to go to my Golden Trio ASAP after I came back from um
It's like
Universal.
I don't know. I just whenever I go there, it's I get like so much motivation because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm walking through Hogsmeade right now, and I'm gonna be walking through with the boy like the Marauders and everything, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to go here. But now I'm back onto my Marvel right now.
I'm in
I'm
like
like, okay.
the state of like where I don't know I want to shift. So I've been on a shifting break for a while just because I don't know where I want to go currently. I don't have a hyperfixation currently, but
Okay.
I but no, I have like tons of videos and photos that I should probably put
Mhm.
together if like people want inspiration for gold or like
Yeah.
motivation. Anyway, I think it's because for a while I was on a small Star Wars kick because I'm just now getting into Star Wars, but I've only seen the prequels.
Oh yeah.
Um,
I grew up on Star Wars, so whenever somebody says Star Wars DR, I'm like, yes, hello, where?
yeah,
Hello.
I yeah, I just started. I need to obviously finish. I need to watch like Solo, Rogue One, and then I need to watch. I need to watch the last. I also need to watch the
Yeah.
shows, and I'm like I
Mhm.
need to catch up before. Well, I mean, obviously I know everything in the prequels, but like I need to catch up before the Kenobi show comes out, and I'm like,
Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for that show.
but
But
yeah,
like you're saying, yeah.
I need to keep watching Star Wars so I can make a Star Wars script. But yeah, otherwise I've just been taking a break from shifting.
I know. I think technically I probably am on like a shifting break because I haven't really tried in a while, mainly because I got into Akatar and so I've just been like just reading and reading and reading and I'm like, oh well, because I know as soon as I'm done with these books, I'm gonna write a script for it because I already in the back of my mind I already have a rough draft going. And so I'm like, well, I don't want to actually shift there just yet because I want to at least get like the lay down of everything before I go. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'm putting myself on a shifting break as of right now until after I finish the series. But
That was me after I finished the Grisha trilogy, and then I was like, I should make a Grisha verse script. I was like, but I don't want to be there. Like in the Grisha trilogy, like a war is happening, and I was like, I don't want to go to another war. And I I was like, no. Plus, it's like bad at a couple points. I'm like, I'm not doing that. So I
I
was
know,
like, wait.
like,
I was like, I can go to Six of Crows though. I've only read the first book. I'm like 100 pages into the second book. I already know a spoiler because
me too,
I
me too. I
spoil
got a
it for
spoiler and I'm
myself.
so upset.
I spoiled it for myself. And then if I
Oh,
wouldn't have
no.
spoiled it for myself, like a year ago, I spoiled it for myself. And then I would have found out from a video on TikTok because they didn't put like a warning. But I was so mad. I was mad at myself for so long. And now like I know the book's not gonna be as sad anymore.
I
That's all I'm
know.
gonna say for anyone who's trying to read the book. Sorry.
Yeah. I I don't surprisingly I haven't gotten any major spoilers for the series right now, but I'm like I know at some point if I see something on my TikTok for you page about Avatar, I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I would like it, but I don't want to get spoilers just in case I just quickly swipe past it. Because I'm
I
like, the
know.
only series I've never really gotten spoilers for. But like you were saying, it is very intense in some points. So I'm like, because like it's a war pretty much eventually. And some of the stuff that goes down, I'm like, but that's what scripting's for. Like you
Yeah.
know.
Because like I scripted the war out of my Marauders one because I was like, I just need a normal DR. I was like, plus they all die at some point, like really young. So I was like, we're gonna keep everyone alive.
21 for James and Lily. I'm like,
I
no,
I
that's
know,
way
like
too young.
that's why I was like, all right, I
Yeah.
have I obviously my Marauder script is finished, but I've had thoughts about changing it for a little bit. I talked about it
Yeah.
whenever I made a post about like my Marauder script, but I don't know what I'm doing yet. So we're just gonna leave that one on hold and see if I want to actually change it or not. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, for my Marauder script, I scripted out their deaths because I'm not emotionally stable enough to deal with deaths in my DR. So I was like, okay, well, I'm scripting that out, and I've scripted the Regulus. He actually kind of like helps us eventually, kind of thing. Because I've scripted that it's like a Hogwarts University because obviously I'm 19, so I would have graduated by then. But I want to go to Hogwarts still, so I've created a university like attached to Hogwarts. So like you can go and I think I'm gonna lean more towards care for magical creatures, but like just kind of like you have that opportunity to become like something kind of like just a college for wizards, I guess. And so I'm gonna have like the Marauders and us like go like to that college, and then eventually, obviously, the war is going on. So I don't know how that's gonna go down, but
It'll
we'll
figure
find out.
itself out.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how both of my Harry Potter ones are. They're both universities. I've thoughts about changing the Marauders one though to like obviously still scripting out No War, but us making it like after Hogwarts where we all have like our jobs and stuff. Like how
Yeah.
like I think that would be so fun. I don't know which one I want to if I want to stick with university or do the jobs one after Hogwarts because I'm also 19 for anyone who doesn't know. Because I used to have my age in my bio, but then I have so many things in my bio now that I had to get rid of it to make space.
Oh yeah.
So we'll figure it out. But for sure Golden Trio is staying as Hogwarts University. I like my Golden Trio script a lot.
Yeah. I love the idea of Hogwarts University. It's just so cool. I'm like, that'd be really fun to go to.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
okay. Do you have any last thoughts about anything we've talked about? We talked about a lot. We got void
Yeah.
state, guided meditations,
I
anti-shifters,
know.
scripts.
Yeah. The only thought is anti-shifters, please stop being mean to us. We're sensitive. No.
Yeah, leave us alone, thanks.
Leave us alone, thank you. But no, I don't think so. Yeah, I think that's about it. I think we covered a lot of stuff. So.
I know. I was like, well, it was good. It was good.
Yes.
All right. Well, this has been this wonderful, lovely episode with Hailey. I'm so sorry for not posting an episode over the past couple weeks. I'm so sorry for anyone who's made it this far. Listen, sometimes I have writer's block with episode ideas. So I'm like, Anyway, so if you have any episode recommendations for anyone listening, I have a video pinned on my account. Just type of whatever you want to hear. Anyway, so sorry about that. Anyway, thanks again for listening. If you've made it all the way this far, I don't really know what y'all do. And stay tuned for another episode soon rather than next week. Bye.